Your delays, not your denial. Don't give up, keep working harder. No matter how long the storm lasts, the sun will always shine behind a cloud. No matter how long the storm lasts, the sun will always shine behind a cloud. Your setback will be a major comeback. Me, I only hope for long life. Ugly water can carry rock. Then they don't there. No cause to worry. Give God the glory for the little life. I give God the glory, keeping me alive. So I give God the glory for keeping me alive. Give God the glory for keeping me alive. Get a paper glory, I'm sorry. Give God the glory for keeping me alive. Once you got food to eat, thank you. You get more to talk, thank you. You get air to breathe, thank you. Your current situation is not your final destination. No condition is permanent. Infection, starvation, temptation is not my portion. If you pray for my downfall, sorry, come and get your refund. No weapon for making me shall prosper. Cause I'm covered with the blood of Jesus. I sold my soul to the Holy Ghost. You already know I'm about to go. I walk through the valley and the shadow of death. I fear no evil. I still believe so. I'm not complaining. Lord, I'm grateful and thankful. So I give God the glory for keeping me alive. Give God the glory for keeping me alive. Get a paper, sorry. Give God the glory for keeping me alive. Once you got food to eat, thank you. You get more to talk, thank you. You get air to breathe, thank you. Get a public glory, get a public glory. I thank you, Daddy. I thank you. If I wanted to know what I cannot want to if I wanted to know what I cannot want to if I wanted to know what I cannot want to if I wanted to know what I cannot want to if I be home, Baba home, Unamu home, Baba home, Baba home, Unamu home. Make away, come on. Make away, come on. Manya come on, make away, come on. We're back to well. What you dance? The flap pocket. Somebody just eat the flap pocket. Manya come on, make away. So I give God the glory for keeping me alive. Give God the glory for keeping me alive. Get a paper, sorry. Give God the glory for keeping me alive. Once you got food to eat, thank you. You get more to talk, thank you. You get air to breathe, thank you. Get a public glory, get a public glory, get a glory. Besuruku, Sunday ba, kuku chumuku, ina isa yunano. Besuruku, Sunday ba, kuku chumuku, ina isa yunano.
Harvard says it's talking about this.
Makeup, they say, increases people's perception of a woman's likability, competence, and trustworthiness. That's why I introduced to you Major Millions Beauty and Market. Major Millions Beauty and Market has the best skin and hair care products. The beauty parlor also has hair accessories, including hairspray, hair gel, and hair dryer, makeup palettes, Major Millions customized lip gloss, shoes, bags, concealers, blushes, and a lot more. Guess what? Major Millions Beauty and Market has on sale well-packaged African products to include your favorite cuisine, cassava leaves, potato greens, palava sauce, palm butter, etc. Customers purchasing goods worth over 100 United States dollars will have free delivery once they are 15 minutes drive away from our location. Locate us at 10 Chestnut Drive, Elton, Maryland, 21921. Better still, call us on cell numbers 302-316-6813 or log onto our website www.majormillionsbeautysupply.com. Major Millions Beauty Supply. We move. Lopus Kitchen, a Liberian-owned business operated by Johnson and Wales University's trained chef Joyce Matowia, is your dining away from home. At Lopus Kitchen, we prepare all kinds of Liberian cuisines, including fried and rare oil potatoes green, kidney beans, palava sauce, fever leaves, and a lot more. We also make rice bread, meat pies, cookies, Benesi candies, and all kinds of pastry products. Place in your order online today from anywhere in the US at www.lorpuktchen.com. The good news is your package is sealed in an insulated cooling box and reaches your destination well preserved and fresh. Save yourself the stress and order the best from a professional chef. Lopus Kitchen keeps your fingers licking.
I say, honey, have you heard about the Global Net TV?
Oh, yes, sweetheart. I read about them. At GlobalNet ITV, they provide superior television services with endless selections of TV channels and many options to include live TV.
That's a great news.
Yes, they provide news, entertainment, premier sports like NBA, American football, major soccer leagues, movies, and favorite TV shows with endless content and no service interruptions.
Sweetheart, is that all?
No, they also have adult content included with parental guidance. Also, check out their 6-month plan for only $96 and their 12-month plan for only $176. Wow, honey, isn't that a great news?
Yes, but sweetheart, how can we get in touch?
Yes, you can contact us at 226-946-1090 or visit our website at www.globalnetitv.com.
Nearly 200 years ago, a home was birthed on Providence Island, a home that once stood at the pinnacle of Africa's decolonization, a home that has persisted in the face of atrocities and today remains more united than ever, a home where nature, culture, landscape, beaches, and history await a glorious moment to be lived. At the pinnacle of 200 years, Liberia is excited to welcome Africans in the diaspora home again.
Let's return to where it all started. Come reunite, relocate, and rebuild the land, which has so much more to offer. Explore our attractions, taste our food, experience our culture, and impact our communities. Let's go home. Visit Liberia December 17th through January 3rd for the greatest reunion since 1822 as we kick off our year-long Liberian bicentennial.
For more information, visit our website at www.libyearofthediaspora.org.
I can swear, I can joke, I see you.
We all know the headache we go through sending money to our loved ones, friends, and family in Liberia. High fees, long lines in banks, the usual complaint of the system being down, such a waste of time and energy. That is why I was very happy when I learned that SendWave is now in Liberia. So now I can send money anytime from anywhere directly from my smartphone to the MTN Lone Star Cell mobile money account of a loved one, friend, or family within seconds for just a tiny fee. So download SendWave now to your phone from your Apple Store or Google Play Store. Add your details, and don't worry, they are very safe and secure. And start sending money today. Don't forget to insert the promo code COSTA to get free $5 credit added to your first transfer. SendWave is secure, super fast, and by far the most affordable way to send money to Liberia. I'm Henry P. Costa and a very happy customer. Thank you.
All right. Good morning and welcome to the program. You're listening to the Costa Show. Today it's October the 14th, 2021. The time in Monrovia is 7:30 a.m. The time in Delaware, USA is 3:30 a.m. And I'm glad to be here. George, good morning.
Good morning, cuz, and good morning to our folks out there. Good to be back here this morning.
It is. It is. I'm going to say to our people, I apologize that I haven't been able to join the guys for the last couple of days. We did a show on Monday. We didn't do it on Tuesday and Wednesday, and today's Thursday. And it's been a lot, really. I've been dealing with a lot. I've been very busy mentally and you name it, and physically as well. I've had a lot to deal with. And then, of course, there's the issue of, you've done something so long and then you start getting tired of doing it. And I can't wait to retire from this. I'm tired. That's why sometimes when people try to do comparisons, I'm tired of doing this. That is the truth. 10 years is a long time to do something as hectic as this. It is not an easy thing. You are constantly, there's too much to deal with. So I am ready to retire. And well, the only thing that's holding me now is the elections. But I'm working on something. And by God's grace, I should even retire before the elections. When what I'm working on happens. I said when, not if, because I'm positive that it will. You all complaining about my volume. George, how's my volume?
Your volume is okay for my end here, Chief. Except for the present device. You have to restart it.
If your device, if you're low, you have to do something about it. It can't be from our end. Many people think that we just love what we do to the extent where we don't get tired doing it. You were wrong. We don't. We're not gonna say we don't love what we're doing, but we do get tired doing it. Most people are not built to do what we do. We are not talk show hosts. We are advocates. We educate. We shed light on things that are happening that are bad. And we pressure consistently, strategically, surgically to make things happen. We've done it many times. We're not like other people. And that's why I keep telling you, don't try to compare us to other people. We respect what others are doing. They're doing what they're doing. We're not like them. So there is no competition. There is no competition. The reason the government shut down our radio station 2 years ago, well, October the 10th, a few days ago, made it exactly 2 years since they shut us down. Seized all of our equipment, including our brand new recording studio. We had just built a recording studio. And the recording studio had absolutely nothing to do with a radio station. I mean, we had expensive pieces of equipment. I mean, everything was Mac, everything. They took it all. 2 days ago, I spoke with our lawyer, Councillor Finlay Kanga. And I told Councillor Kanga, I said, look, these people shut down our radio station, seized all of our equipment because they're afraid of us being on the air. They refused to return our equipment. They're holding our equipment worth over $60,000 US. So I told Councillor Kanga, I want you, as our lawyer, to write to the court, Magistrate Juma Jala of the Monrovia City Court, and inform the magistrate that we are waiving our equipment. Let the government have it. And Councillor Kanga, George,
Your cause?
I want you to tell Eduardo to call Councillor Kanga today and remind him.
Okay.
I want that letter written so
I'll do that.
we are waiving the equipment to the government. Have it. Take it. It's yours. Because we cannot get justice in the courts. So what's the point? Do you know how long it's taken? We're trying to get an assignment to go to court. Every time we go to court, the judge, the magistrate keeps saying this, he says that, he says this, he says that. We're tired. Let the government of Liberia take the equipment. Let them do whatever they want to do with them. These are the things that we've lost fighting for the Liberian people. Over $60,000 in broadcast equipment and recording studio equipment. So we are waiving those equipment. Let them have them. Let them take them. You know, I see some of you trying to say, oh, you know, the things that we've lost fighting for this country, the risks that we have been exposed to fighting for this country. Most of you would never be able to go through the things that we've gone through. No, most of you. It's easy for some people to act like they are advocates or they are, anybody can talk, but not anybody can be an advocate. Anybody can jump on Facebook and talk from a distance, but not anybody can do what we've done. So we are waiving the equipment to the government of Liberia. Let them have them. And let the whole world know that we could not get justice in the courts. And so we are going to let the government, this is my decision I've made. And I'm sorry, not even Sarah Burton can change my mind about this. So you're wasting your time. Those of you who are saying, oh, no, Costa, don't do it. This is what I'm doing. I've already instructed my lawyer that he should write that letter and let them take the equipment and do with them whatever they want to do with them, because we will not get justice. We will not get justice. That's it. That's what we have to go through because of our voice and because of what we do. That is final. And don't think you can contact me later on and try to change my mind. because I'm a full-grown man. It's my property. I've made a decision that I want the government to have them. Let them take those equipment. Good. Number two, we're going to move on to something else here. You know, tomorrow is a historic day in the CPP because former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai takes over as the chairman of the CPP. And it's his first time taking over, or is it going to be his first time to become chairman of the CPP? Everybody's going to be watching to see what his chairmanship will bring, to see what he does, to see how he conducts himself, to see how he runs the CPP. And everybody who's waiting to see how he runs the CPP, you're right. He wants to be president of the country. And the way he manages, the way he leads the CPP in the next 8 months, will be on the line, will be scrutinized. People need to watch and see how he does that. It is important. I myself, I'm waiting to see how he's going to run the CPP for the next 8 months, beginning tomorrow. So we wait, we watch, and we see. All right. Somebody asked a question about the Browning Samukai case. What is going on with the Browning Samukai case? The last I heard is that a petition had been filed to have that election voided. They want to declare that seat vacant, to call for a brand new election to fill the seat in Lofa. That is what they intend to do. I'm told the petition was filed, but the Supreme Court justice before whom the petition was filed, I'm told, is in consultations. He's consulting with the leadership of the Senate and with other individuals involved or concerned to see whether they can do that. And so that is the latest I've heard of the Browning Samukai case. There are legal ongoing efforts or proceedings to try to have the seat declared vacant. That is their plan. We'll see what happens. I spoke with an 11-year-old boy yesterday, courtesy of my friend Sewala Kennedy. Was it yesterday or the day before? I'm getting old. I tend to forget. But I believe it was yesterday. Thank you. I will give you an update on the case with Bill Traore as well. Thank you. Enoch Nan. I was planning to do that. It's written right here on my, right here. I will give you an update on the Bill Traore case. So I spoke with an 11-year-old boy a few days ago. Well, it was yesterday or the day before. This young man lives in Minnesota with his parents. And Sewala called me and said, Costa, I would like you to speak with a young man. He's a big supporter of yours. I was like, okay, how old is he? He's 11 years old. Is he 11 years old? Yeah. So wow. He said, this young man loves your show, and he came to learn of your show through his mom, I think. and he likes what you do in Liberia. So that's incredible. I mean, an 11-year-old boy all the way in America, with interest in Liberia to the extent that he supports what we do. But this young man's interest is not just in us. His interest truly lies in the country. So what he does, he and his sister, they make lemonade, a drink. Those of you who don't know what lemonade is, they use lime and they make lemonade. They use all the stuff they use to make lemonade. And they sell their lemonade, and they raise money, and the proceeds of the lemonade, they send it to Liberia, George, and they buy rice and food items and distribute to the poor. That is incredible. This 11-year-old boy. An 11-year-old boy. Incredible stuff. Yeah, I mean, I spoke to the young man and I said, look, I am just inspired by you. So we're going to bring him on sometime next week. He's not going to be able to come on this time. A lot of people are not able to be up, especially in America, to watch the show at this time. In Liberia, people listen mostly via the other apps. Don't forget, we are on 6 different platforms. Six different platforms. We are on YouTube. That's live. We are on SoundCloud. That is the recording of the show is posted on SoundCloud after the show. There's 2. We are on MyTuner. That's 3. It's a radio streaming app. Thousands of people listen there, mostly in Liberia because it's cheaper, because it's only audio. It's cheaper than streaming live video because data is expensive in Liberia, thanks to the government of Liberia. We're on MyTuner, which is also a radio streaming app. There are 2 different apps. Don't get it twisted. There is TuneIn, and then there's MyTuner. We're on Facebook. That's 5. And that's how some of you watch the show. Some of you think that's the only place we'll come to you from. You're mistaken. I'm sorry, but you're mistaken. Facebook, there's 5. 6, we're on the website. If you log on right now, you're going to listen to the show crystal clear. It's www.roots1027fm.com. It's there. George, it's there, right? Working right now.
Yes, everything is okay.
And there are lots of people listening there. So we come to you in 6 different ways, 6 different platforms. So some people think we're a Facebook show. I always tell you that we're not a Facebook show. Even though we no longer have a radio station, thanks to the government of Liberia, but we are no longer a Facebook show. So for most people, they watch the show on Facebook later and listen to it on YouTube later. That is why after the show, you go and you're able to see 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 views later on one video, Facebook video alone. And you'll be wondering, oh, but I thought they only had 1,000 people watching this one in live. Of course, you may have 1,000 or 1,500 people watching live, or 1,200, 1,100 watching live because of how very early it is. But then most people catch up later on. So I just thought I should provide that information. So I'm going to speak to that very impressive young man. We're going to bring him on the show next week, but it's going to be an afternoon podcast because he more than likely will not be able to join us at this very odd hour in the morning. So we're going to bring him on later on next week, but we're going to do an afternoon thing. We're going to bring him on. Good. And just to inspire you all as I was inspired listening to him. Now, I heard a story of a young man who found $50,000 US in cash. Josh, did you hear that story?
Yes. the story taking over right now on Facebook.
It is. It was published in the most credible newspaper in the country. And if you say it's any other paper other than the Daily Observer, I'm sorry, you are mistaken. The Daily Observer is the most credible newspaper in the country. Has always been. They're the one paper that doesn't take cateau to write a story. You know what cateau is? For those of you who do not know, who are not familiar with that terminology, in the lingua franca of journalism or the newspaper business, cateau is when you give money to a newspaper to write a particular story. Ephraim, you are laughing? That's what cateau is. So Daily Observer is the one newspaper that I know for a fact that does not take cateau to write a story. So they have this story here. A commercial motorcyclist in Nimba has done what most wouldn't care to do. Honest answer. If you found 50,000 United States dollars and no one was looking, would you report it? That is a story. That is a story. Well, that is exactly what Emmanuel Tulo, 19 years old, who earns a living as a commercial motorcyclist in Tapeta, Nimba County, did on Sunday, October 10th, 2021, after he heard on local radio that the owner of the bag he found, containing over 50,000 United States dollars and 100,000 Liberian dollars, had launched a search for the bag of money. This young man found a bag of money with 100,000 US dollars, 50,000 US dollars in it, and 100,000 Liberian dollars in it. He lives in Tapeta, Nimba County. He's 19 years old. He's a motorcyclist. He found the money and he decided to take the money. Tulo, who is now considered a good Samaritan, told the Voice of Tapeta radio station that he spotted the bag of money while returning from Gray, which is a town along the Ganta-Tapeta Highway, precisely between Xiongin and Volé. I hope I pronounced those places correctly. And when he heard on the same radio station that the owner of the bag was looking for it, he thought it was wise to make contact with a radio station. The owner of the bag, Musu Yanse, is a businesswoman. I'm not surprised. Nimba County, industrious people. Shout out to Nimba County. Ganta is a perfect example that Liberians can do well in business. Unlike other cities, unlike other counties where foreigners run the show, run the economy, in Ganta, Nimba County, and other parts of Nimba County, it is Nimbayans or Liberians that run the local industry. They run the businesses. They run everything. Incredible. Shout out to Nimba County, folks. Shout out to Nimba County and all Nimbayans, in particular for that, for being very industrious, very hardworking. So that's what happened, folks. This boy found a bag of money containing 50,000 US dollars in it. Woo! Jesus Christ. And 100,000 Liberian dollars. He's a motorcyclist. He's not rich. That's how he makes his living. Motorcycling, commercial motorcycling. Then he heard on a local radio station that someone had lost a bag containing 50,000 US dollars and 100,000 Liberian dollars. And a young man phoned into the radio station or proceeded to the radio station and said, hey, this is a bag. I found the money. It's incredible. These things don't happen every day, but whenever they do happen, it is worthy of commendation, worthy of being reported, so that, well, hopefully others can be inspired to do the same thing if they came upon such a huge find. It's someone's money, someone's hard work, the fruits of someone's laborious effort. And so it is only fair that you return it. So I asked myself the question, rhetorically, Costa, if you did find something like that belonging to someone, obviously, it didn't drop from the sky, and you heard an announcement that it was for someone, what would you do? Of course, I would return it. Some people don't believe that, but I would return it. Especially if I heard on the radio that belongs to a businesswoman. A business what? Businesswoman. And that's her business money. She must have taken a long time to make that money. I would return that money. Well, there you go. Theo Ephraim Briswell says the story made its way to the BBC. I am not surprised. I remember when we helped change that poor woman's story. George, you remember?
Yes, the Moses said the donut on Kim Johnson Road.
No. The lady on Kim Johnson Road used to sell donuts, the Oma, in Booster Quarter. Yep. And she called in one day and said that she was having trouble. She didn't have enough money to buy the bag of flour, the baking flour. And so she would go to the store and take the flour on loan, on credit.
On credit.
She would make the donuts, and then she would go back and pay for the flour and then take it back on credit. She didn't have money to buy a bag of flour. So one morning when she called in, and it was actually true, she wasn't lying. And we gave her more than enough money to buy herself her own bag of flour. But that's not the story. The story I'm talking about the old lady whose life we changed and that eventually made the BBC is the story of the old lady who called in and said she hadn't been able to receive her husband's pension.
Yes.
She was having trouble for a few months. She had gone up and down and hadn't been able to receive his pension. And we asked her how much it was. And she said it was just a few thousand Liberian dollars. What we did that day was that I actually gave her $40, which was way more than what I think twice. It was just about the pension. It was 2 months of the pension, 2 months worth of the pension. And then we raised over 200,000? I think about 200 and something thousand Liberian dollars for her. Yeah, we raised about 200 and something thousand Liberian dollars for her. We changed her story. And Mr. Jonathan Pelele had listened to the show and he interviewed her and it made its way to the BBC. These are the things the Costa Show has done over the years. When we look back on what we've done and what we continue to do, we just thank God. We thank God. Incredible story. And this young man is incredible. This 19-year-old boy who did this thing, he is incredible. And I just want to salute him. So tomorrow, JNB will become chairman. Going back to that story. Yesterday, I heard was very busy. Oh, there's some schoolwork. The first block is ending. Sometimes some of you call me, you don't get me, you complain. I've talked about this many times and I'm tired now. And you go, oh, my man, I'm trying to call you, I can't get you. Or Costa, I'm trying to call you, I can't get you. You don't know what I go through. You think you're the only one calling me? There are tons of people like you calling me every day, messaging me every day. I try my best. I'm a student. I'm a father. I'm a businessman. I'm a politician. I'm so many things at the same time. I'm busy. And so I've been busy, especially very busy the last few days, writing a lot of papers. I'm ending the first half of the semester. My first semester, this is the first half. Our semesters here are divided into 2 blocks. We've got block 1, 7 weeks, and we've got block 2, 7 weeks. So we're ending the first 7 weeks. And so you got to turn in papers. You got to do research work. You got to do this. You got to do that. There's a lot of work. And unlike other people who went to school and people did their schoolwork for them, we do our own work. We write our papers, and it's a lot of work. But I love it. I love it. Currently, I'm doing a research project, and we're a team. My classmate and she and I have to do 20 slides, PowerPoint presentation, 20 slides. Yeah. This is, you know, a course that I really like. It's called Managing Diversity. 6603, Managing Diversity. 20 PowerPoint slides. We have to do. Then I have to go to school on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. To 3-4 p.m. Well, we really don't stay at 3-4 p.m. And then Sunday morning, I have to go to school as well. So it's a lot of work, folks. A lot of work. A lot of work. So these scammers then can come on our live video and come posting here talking about you can make people get rich and all that kind of thing. I'm just blocking you. Go do your advertising for your juju business somewhere else. You come here on our live video, you say, call this number. I can make you get rich. I can fix your marriage problem. I can fix your problem. Go do it somewhere else. Don't come do it on our thing here. You juju man, you're looking for customer, go get your business somewhere. I'm a child of God. I don't go to medicine man. I go to church. All right. Brother Mike, he asked me, that one at Jesus. He said, who schoolwork? And I got ratio. And I got ratio. All right, let me address this issue. My case with Bill Twawe. Well, he sued me. I didn't sue him, and I'm going to whip him in court. Finally, we got the scheduling done. They had the scheduling conference. Bill Twawe's lawyer and my lawyer, they had a conference with the judge, and the judge will then tell them the exact date when the case is going to be heard. So they've had the first interaction. So the case has commenced. I mean, not that they've gone into the case, but they had the first interaction with the judge. And that took place on the 23rd of September. That's when it took place. And so they're going to go ahead now and they will schedule a date, and then they will go into the case. And the judge will decide what to do. But that's where we are, just so you know. Okay. I wanted to say that. Now, so as I was saying, at tomorrow's program, where JMB takes over as the chairman of the CPB for 8 months, Mr. Cummings will not be present. I heard his people say he is in the States or left for the States to attend an event, an ANC event. So according to them, Mr. Cummings received the invitation very late, and that's why he's not going to be there. If you buy that excuse, then something has got to be wrong with you. I do not buy it. I do not buy that excuse at all. It's absolute rubbish. The turning over ceremony is it happens once every 8 to 9 months. Once every 8 to 9 months. Everybody knew for the last couple of weeks that Yombly's term was over and that JMB was about to step in as chairman, and that by this time, by the middle of the month, JMB would take over. So for anybody to say that they didn't know that JMB was about to take over or the transition was going to happen is dishonest, and it's a bloody lie. It is not true. It is not true. Don't lie to people. We all knew. Now, did you not know, folks? We all knew when the transition was going to happen. We all knew. We knew it was going to be the middle of the month. And Friday is the middle of the month. Tomorrow, the 15th. And so you get up and you leave and you go. And then you say that you didn't know, or you were busy, or you had this prior engagement. I mean, it's just dishonest. I'm sorry to say, but that's not okay. When Mr. Cummings was assuming the leadership from Ben and I here, it was a virtual event, yes. I remember, I think it was because of COVID. Was it a virtual event? The turn over to Mr. Cummings, it was a virtual event. That's correct. Everybody was present. That was because of COVID, so it was virtual. They did it on Zoom, I believe. Then when Yumli was taking over, it was an in-person event. Everybody was there. Everybody was there. All the political leaders were present. And then now Yumli is leaving. Joe Boaga is taking over. And then Mr. Cummins is not here. So there you go, folks. It does not look good at all. We wait to hear what Joe Boaga's message will say. His speech he will deliver on tomorrow when he takes over. We wait to hear what that speech will say. What it will say. The U.S. Embassy has issued a statement. Well, I have the letter here from the U.S. Ambassador, Ambassador Kevin McCarthy. He has expressed their support to the effort by Ambula Mame and his colleagues who are fighting for the amendment of the oil law to restore the 5% free carried interest for all Liberians. And that is a very important effort that they are engaged in. And so Brother Mame will be our guest this morning. We want to thank the U.S. Embassy and through his ambassador for lending their support toward this very important thing. I'm trying to find the letter that the ambassador wrote in response to a letter that was written to him by Mame and his folks, and promising to take this matter up with the government of Liberia. Mame will be our guest this morning at 4:30 on the program, 4:30 a.m., which is 8:30 Liberian time. But there's something else worthy of celebration, which is that a private Liberian citizen, Councillor at Law Arvin Jallo Teej, sued the government of Liberia. Well, you could say that, sue the government, to challenge them on the issue of citizenship. That case went to court and to the Supreme Court. It was there for a while, and the case has been won or was won. And this is a case that's very important to a lot of people. It's on dual citizenship, which has been a hot button issue in Liberia for a long time. And is a hot button issue for a lot of people. A lot of Liberians around the world have dual citizenship or have another citizenship, and they've been supporting this. They've been wanting to see this happen, for the law to change, for them to be able to freely, to be honest, in practice, it's not really a big deal. It's not really a big deal. You may have a US passport or a British passport or European Union passport. You go to Liberia and you can still own land, you can still do stuff, but still there are some hurdles. And then there's a symbolic thing as well. People feel that, it holds them back. And then if you're traveling with your US passport or foreign passport to Liberia, you need to get a visa. It's a headache and all kinds of things. But this law, this new ruling by the Supreme Court, and I've always supported dual citizenship, and I've even gone further beyond dual citizenship. I've gone further to say that we also need to repeal the Constitution. We have a racist clause in our Constitution We're one of the very few countries in the world today that says that people of other races cannot become citizens of our country. One of the very few countries. In fact, the United Nations is against the very, I think there's a UN charter or a UN thing that this is against. They consider that as racist, very racist. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. But we're celebrating this victory for all Liberians who hold a foreign passport and want to continue to enjoy all their rights as Liberian citizens, natural born Liberian citizens. This case was decided in the Supreme Court ever since December 2019. The Supreme Court handed down a judgment and a ruling on December 23rd, 2019. That ruling declared that sections 22.1 and 22.2 of the Aliens and Nationality Law, Title 4 of the Liberian Code of Law Revised, approved May 15, 1973, and published unconstitutional. This ruling by the Supreme Court said that those particular provisions of the Alien and Nationality Law have been declared unconstitutional. That's what the Supreme Court ruling essentially says. The Supreme Court ruling, that's what it says. It's declared them unconstitutional. Now, what is the consequence of that, of declaring those particular provisions or sections of the law unconstitutional? The consequence of that, or the benefits of that, it means that to the extent that it does not provide for due process before the forfeiture of Liberian citizenship. Now, I'm gonna go there and read it. What it says here is that you will advise. It means. Let me stop right there. It means that Liberian citizens who undertake any one or more of the acts described in section 22.1 do not ipso facto, that means as a result of that, I think that's what ipso facto means, by that act, by that fact, ipso facto, IPSO, that's a word by itself, and then FACTO, ipso facto. It means by that act, or as a result of that, ipso facto, lose Liberian citizenship. That means if you take up another country's passport, you don't automatically lose your Liberian passport without the institution of a proceeding to nullify or cancel such citizenship, which means the only way you can stop them is unless, of course, you go to court, you challenge it, that they should no longer be a Liberian, you fight it in court and all that kind of stuff. So you can't just say automatically, once you take up another passport, you're no longer Liberian. No. This ruling by the Supreme Court says that would no longer be the case. This letter is from Musa Dean. He wrote a letter to the Minister of Foreign Affairs informing him that go ahead and begin issuing passports to Liberian citizens who have another citizenship. It reads further. The automatic forfeiture of Liberian citizenship, that means automatic forfeiture, which means this practice whereby if you saw an oath to become an American citizen, and by that, by the principle of automaticity, you lose your Liberian citizenship, is no longer, this has been struck off. So just because you take an oath and become an American does not mean you automatically lose your Liberian citizenship. That's what this thing says. The automatic forfeiture of Liberian citizenship without resort to any judicial proceeding to nullify or cancel same is declared unconstitutional, void, and null. You can't just say, oh, by the time you become an American, you know you're no longer Liberian. This ruling says that's not the case. You're going to have to take the person to court. You're going to have to afford them due process. You're going to have to say why they can no longer be a Liberian. So, fellow Liberians, this is victory. This is a good thing. We are 100% in support of it. We've always been in support of dual citizenship. And even though I have no desire to become a citizen of another country, I will die a Liberian citizen. But I have absolutely no problem with people who take up the citizenship of another country. There is nothing wrong with it. And I support it 100%. 100%. I just wanted to say that. It's a great thing. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. And we will go to the phone lines, George, hear from some of our people. In a few minutes, we will go and speak with Brother Mame and hear from Brother Mame and hear what he has to say on the support they've just received from the United States Ambassador to Monrovia, Ambassador Kevin McCarthy, supporting their effort to restore, to amend the oil law, the petroleum law, to restore the 5% free equity interest that should be enjoyed by all Liberians and not a select few. Josh?
Yep.
Let's go to the lines.
Okay, the numbers to call this morning on the show: 0770-102-102, 0886.
Somebody's asking a question. What about children born by Liberian parents in America? Well, that's a different thing. This thing applies to Liberian citizens who are natural born. When you are born in America, you're automatically an American citizen if your parents are not diplomats of a foreign country. If your pa is the ambassador of Liberia and your mother gave birth to you here, you cannot become an American citizen because you are the child of a ranking foreign representative of a foreign sovereign state. You cannot. I think that's the law. But if you are just ordinary folks living here in the States or came to visit here in the States, your children automatically become American citizens. So you cannot just, if this law says natural born, if you naturalize, if you take up another citizenship. Now, at the same time, the Liberian Constitution states that if one of your parents is a Liberian citizen and you were born in a foreign country, you have the right at age 18, upon attaining the legal age, you may choose to become a Liberian citizen. So that's what the law says, the Constitution. So your child, like my son, Henry Costa Jr., is an American citizen. He is also an Italian citizen because his mother is Italian. So Henry has two passports. He has an American passport and he has a European Union passport because he is also an Italian. He was not born in Italy, but his mother is Italian. So my son can also become a Liberian citizen if he wishes to, if he desires to, when he reaches the age 18, because his father is a Liberian citizen. So that's it. You can choose to. You can elect to. That's the right word to use, Brother Sakama. You may elect if you so desire. George, let's go to the lines. Let's take some calls. That provide the U.S. numbers. I mean the U.S. The number for the diaspora people as well.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, George.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Costa, there is Samuka coming. I'm calling you from the single bell.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Costa, please allow me to actually digress a little bit. I'm interested in you making it known to the world. If the document, the 3-month document was authored, what was authored in it? Please, we beg you, we want to know, because people hiding everywhere that it was never authored. Please let the world understand which part of it was authored, if you do have an idea. Thank you very much.
Okay, my brother.
Well, the document is in the public domain, but I don't have time to go into it this morning, but it's in the public domain. We can find some time to discuss it. We can publish it on Facebook as well. I think I will do that. It's a 28-page document. We will publish the findings. Now we will publish all, and you can go specifically to the findings, and you should be able to read all the things that the committee discovered that were altered. So yes, we will publish the documents. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
the WhatsApp number plus.
Saying it out here on the show, for some people they say that's not true. But even with the report, some people have read it and they're still arguing that that's not true because, of course, of their political loyalty. But yes, it's there. Tons of things. I think a total of 18 things were found to be, or 18 alterations were found, were discovered. And it's in the findings, and they are there. Let's go back to the lines, George.
Okay, 0770-102-102. Okay, let me take TJ Lome on this line. Good morning, TJ Lome.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
George, this is TJ Lome calling from Conway.
Yeah, welcome to the program.
Let me say good morning to my brother, Henry Pedro Costa. Costa, thank you for electing the Liberian people. You know, we're in trouble in this government here. Look, if I listen to President, we are saying that he will win 15 counties, it's just a laugh. Because we know the Liberian people themselves know. Water and sewer going another 7 months now will all pay. When the last time the European ambassador said the city was dirty, they said a lie. Yesterday they started working, they started cleaning up. And the former President Eddie went to City Hall yesterday to make sure to give them some information to get Monrovia clean. Look, Costa, with this communist issue, I think the CPP, just what you said on your podcast, if they may remain the CPP for now to next year will be problem for all. Let us experiment, let the man go. If you see he got a normal saying, call everybody because what he said on Sunday in a press conference, what he did, that the people are singing the working government. They have corruption, so you don't want to be part of them. Like the reason why he left from here, he went to America. Let the man lead the CPP, or he to a wife, it quite sufficient. They may be in the CPP, but not the next year. In fact, many Liberians are getting angry with it, and then they call confusion within the CPP. So let Comey leave. Let Comey say, Comey guy, number saying they want to clean it, and they want to job in one like bro. Let him go alone and stand by himself. Those from America that want to support him, let him put their own clean and bring them and let them vote for him. Let Comey go, Costa. Let carry the campaign. Let Comey leave the CPP because it's bringing too much problem. If people are on the radio every day talking a whole lot of things that you can't even understand, even to or what whosoever were on the radio last night again, talking all lot of message things, and then you got one minute or two, and Kevin saying now they're talking about corruption. The corruption are in CDC, you're not seeing it. CDC is split right now. The NPP going away and the LSR group going away. You're finished selling for me to Edwin Snow. You're so Nima to Prince Johnson. You're making business. President, we are a businessman. Let him lead. Let come and lead the CPP. Thank you this morning, my brother Costa.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Okay, hello, man. Okay, the WhatsApp number plus 231 880-513417 0770-102-102
You know, when you talk about Monrovia being dirty, you think that just to remove the filth, the garbage. Monrovia is indeed the dirtiest place I've ever been to in my entire life. And I've been to a few places. I've been to Ghana a few times. I went to Benin. I went to Togo. I've been to Senegal. I've been to a few places. And I see what Monrovia is. You think when you clean the garbage, when it rains in central Monrovia, the streets get flooded. The drainages, all those things are clogged. Dirt, garbage in them. And hey, don't let even somebody tell you, say, Georgia is the one that made it dirty. Monrovia was dirty on Ellen. It's still dirty on Georgia. And it's no excuse that Georgia people aren't doing something to fix it. It's a dirty place. One of the nastiest things about the city is that the sewers. The sewers are messed up. They're broken. Human refuse. I'm sorry if you're eating refuse. If you don't know what, I'm trying to be euphemistic. I don't want to use that ugly word. Human refuse come gushing out of broken pipes. Which streets, George, you can see that on? Carey Street, and what is streets you can see it on?
One.
When I say refuse, you want to talk about refuse?
No.
You want me to use how ugly word the thing you can pour in the commo?
I want Carey, yeah. Carey Street, yeah. Carey and Lynch Street.
Called refuse.
Yeah, but Carey and Lynch Street, Carey and Beginner Street and all.
And it's still mess up?
It's still mess up. Even down the water side, the Pussy Quarter and all.
Yes. Hey, bad. The bookman call it refuse.
But what else out on West?
I'm telling you. Benson Street and all of that. What kind of city? We are indebted people. Nasty people. The white man talking and y'all get fat. Dirty human being, and that's what we are. You live in a city where you can see human whatever all over. On the street, you driving, you walking inside the thing, hold your nose and pass. Then you won't get fed with it, man. The man say, you know why it's like that, George? Do you know why it's like that? George, you know why?
No.
You don't know why? Okay, I'm not surprised. The pipes, the sewer pipes, the pipes that can go in on the ground. Those pipes are messed up.
Everything clogged.
They are clogged and they are broken. So when they can't make their way to go, what can happen, George?
They pull out.
They come out. Human refuse. Human yama. I won't call out other name. Come gossip out.
I just go to somebody who wear Gucci 24 hours.
It's not the point. Look, let me tell you something, George. Look, I know I blast Koji here all the time. That's not even the thing. The thing is, George, those pipes are broken. You have to change those pipes. The pipes are broken. Do you know why the city gets flooded? The drainage system, the central drainage system in the city, just so dead inside. They're clogged.
Everything clogged because the water is not flowing freely.
You need to use very powerful suction or pumps, and then they got machines that they can use to flush the things out. When you go down to what a place name, man, Soniwen. You go down to Soniwen. You see those big concrete drainages, right? The gutters, the concrete gutters, wide. They are filled with dirt. Those gutters were not meant to be used as waste disposal centers. No, they are supposed to be used to do what? When it rains, the water goes through the sewer system or the pipes, and then they escape. They go out, George.
Yeah.
That is the way it's supposed to work. That's the way it's supposed to work. The water's supposed to go out. Yeah, brother Mame, brother Mame, he also knows this. Brother, you know those gutters, those wide concrete drainages.
Yeah.
It's only one area.
Correct.
People think those things need to put that inside. All the people from the market, the community, the Rallytown market, all the market, that's where they put their day.
Exactly.
But those concrete, they building like this. They are to, when it rains from Carey Street, when the water go in the drainage, it's supposed to flow down there and go inside and empty into the sea or somewhere. but they are clogged. That's why they say they get flooded when it rains. People the cars on Carey Street, the water almost will enter the car. Can you imagine that, my brother?
But just to chip in on that, because a part of the problem is the big man mentality or the big woman mentality in Liberia.
True.
People take ownership people in leadership take ownership for the cleanliness of Monrovia, and they take ownership for the dirtiness of Monrovia. So for that reason, when there is a criticism about Monrovia being dirty, instead of it challenging the ordinary people to see reason to clean the city, the only person feel challenged is the person sitting in the seat. It shouldn't be the case. People in the seat should be able to make people to take ownership and responsibility for cleaning the city and many other things. But because you attach everything to yourself, then when the criticism comes, you alone take it, then there is an urge to defend it.
Yeah.
But I think Liberians, ordinary Liberians, should see criticism about the cleanliness of the city, cleanliness of other places, as a challenge to move forward and make it better.
Brother Mame, I don't disagree with you. I agree. The ordinary people should take initiative. The big people, the ordinary man ain't got money to go to repair the broken sewer pipes. The reason why the human refuse can be spilling all on the street, brother, than a poor man can face our own. Those pipes have been there since Tottenham Town, since Charlie Kintown. Those pipes are bad, bro. You gotta face those pipes. My man, let me ask you a question. How the hell 12 years Ellen was there? Man, they put money in the budget to fix those pipes, to repair those underground pipes in the city. I mean, it's sad. You live 12 years with human whatever all on the streets. It's very, very sad. And it's happening the same thing today because we put the money somewhere else that is not even important. And guess what? It is possible the next government could come there. They will not put money in that thing too. You will still have human being whatever on the street. What kind of people are we? You see a problem, everybody knows that the human whatever can be there. They will not fix it. Say, in Monrovia, you walk there, you got to hold your nose. You got to be careful before you step in human being, whatever. I mean, it's just nasty, man. We're just a nasty people. That's what we are. Then we get in bed because the European Union man said we are dirty. Yeah. Welcome here, my brother. Let's go to why you are here. Again, I want to say congratulations to you and your colleagues for another great milestone. You've continued your efforts. And you're winning more allies to your side, important allies. You couldn't have a bigger foreign ally than the American ambassador. I read his letter that he wrote to you, and he says that you have his support, that in their upcoming engagements with the government, they will put the issue of restoring that 5% equity citizen equity to Liberians. They will put that issue on the front burner. It will be incorporated in their issues of concern that they will bring to the government. That was a very good move you made by reaching out to the American ambassador. But let's talk about that.
Yeah,
did you expect that the American ambassador that they would have responded in a way they did?
I expected so. And the reason why I expected that, because without going into the details, we made strong representation here in DC that the law was amended and all the specifics were highlighted with the different pieces of evidence. We were only advised to proceed in the way we proceeded that led the ambassador to have written the letter he wrote and to have promised to take the action that he is about to take. So yes, we expected that because the representation we made here in DC was very strong. Part of the things we do is not to do this representation and take pictures and share on Facebook, because the goal of this thing is not to make publicity or get fame out of it. It is intended, it's a genuine cause to ensure the law is reversed so that when oil is discovered, every Liberian, regardless of who you are, can have the opportunity to benefit. The second reason why we expected that the Americans and even the US embassy would have taken the action, it would even take further action, is because Costa, if you can remember, The reform of Liberia petroleum sector was triggered by Liberia international partners, including the US. As a matter of fact, the United States Department of Energy played a critical role in drafting the law. I worked with them while at local. They had representatives who sat with the drafting committee from the beginning to the end. They made input. Not that basically they were instructing Liberia on what to do, but they followed the process and they saw the rationale in some of those changes, especially the provision that had to do with citizen participation. So when we triggered to them that, oh, the process is supported, ensure it was participatory across the country, you protected the citizens' participation through the citizen fund modality, these provisions have been changed. And they were done without consultation. There is no evidence that it passed through the legislature. And we highlight the consequences that they were already aware of. So we expected it. And we're looking forward to even more of that. The presentation made here in DC opened a lot of opportunities to several other international partners on this matter. And going forward in subsequent time, you expect to see more than what you saw from the US ambassador.
I'm very glad to hear that, Brother Mame. Thank you so much. That is a very important advocacy that you all have engaged in. Most people take it for granted because we ain't got oil yet in commercial quantity. When they did the oil then they say, but what will govern it now? What is citizen participation? And this is the fight that you all are leading to ensure that that 5% is restored as was originally enshrined in the original law, and so that we all can benefit when it comes. I mean, we know our people are very corrupt in Liberia. The day we find oil, I hope we don't have a very corrupt government in power. But still, so it's a very good fight. Now, your efforts continue at the level of the legislature. I just wrote a paper on legislative advocacy. That is exactly what you guys are engaged in. A group of people with specific interests, specific concerns come together and they are advocating and working with lawmakers. So you have won some big weeks on your side, Senator Dillon, Senator General Sibwe, and you're trying to get something to happen in the Liberian Senate. Tell me about that. Tell our people.
The first thing we can say is we appreciate the decision of Senator Dillon and Bocha Sibwe to have taken the first step to write the letter. However, the push we expected from the two senators have not been forthcoming. They will probably sometime explain or sometime take action.
So they wrote a letter.
They wrote a letter.
Right.
They wrote a letter.
Saying what?
Basically highlighting, unfortunately, the letter is not ready now, but basically what the senators were saying was, this law has been amended. We are shocked that even the law was amended. Senator Dillon said that in the communication, even though he's a senator, that the law
was it amended during the time he was in the Senate or before?
The law was amended, I think, 5 days or 1 week after Senator Dillon took seat. But the thing is, we cannot find evidence that the law passed through the flow of the Liberian Senate.
So they legitimately amended the law.
We cannot find the Senate agenda on which that particular item was discussed. We cannot find videos. The Senate sessions are all recorded. We cannot find videos to show that the discussion went on in the Liberian Senate. Senators have confided in us that they are shocked that such amendment was made. Unfortunately, they're not taking action, but we'll go into that later. So to Senator Dillon's letter, to Senator Dillon's and Bocha's letter, the letter was written. The Senate plenary endorsed an investigation. The plenary of the Senate.
How is this making part of the Senate?
Endorsed an investigation into the matter. Abachie, who is the mastermind of that amendment, is using his gavel and authority to prevent the committees reporting on that matter. The second thing is, after Senator Dillon and Senator Boy Charles introduced the communication and the Senate plenary made a decision, Abachie contacted Aminata and Sons. He contacted one Abdallah Sheriff and told them, we have played our part and amended the law and everything is going fine. If you people sit and allow them to obstruct the process, then it's up to you. Once Chie informed Aminata and Sons, Abdallah Sheriff and McDonald went to, then the strategy now begin to engage lawmakers directly to stay clear of discussing the issue in the Senate. So it becomes confusing on why after that action, the Senate decision, no action has been taken. It is surprising to me that Senator Dillon have now lifted the issue the way we expect it to be lifted. Senator Boy Charles have now lifted it the way we expected it to be lifted. We are shocked about that because we know that they were convinced that the action was wrong. When you read
it was not done the right way. There's no record of it.
So that is how far we are in the Liberian Senate.
So this effort at the level of the Senate is meant to investigate how this amendment was made to strike out the 5% citizen equity provision in the law.
Exactly.
And then, of course, the effort is also meant to, it's a two-pronged effort, to restore that 5%, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So to give them the benefit of the doubt, Senator Dillon's letter basically said, amidst all this, the stakeholders, the National Oil Company, Liberian Petroleum Regulatory Authority, let them come and tell us how Liberians will benefit in the absence of a provision in the law. Let them come and tell us if we include this 5% as it was written in the law, how will it hurt the process? Let them come and tell us what's the justification for the removal. Let them come and tell us how this 5% citizen equity will be managed and utilized when all the provisions in the law regarding citizen equity have been deleted from the law. And based on their response, the Senate will make a decision and take an action. Aboche doesn't want that. The business people in Liberia who they have distributed the 5% and more, they don't want that. And they are using their resources against the people. That's exactly what's happening.
Wow.
And to that, because we're talking about the legislature, I can always say this advocacy, this policy advocacy is not an opposition advocacy, because in the legislature you have CPP lawmakers. They are silent. They don't speak. We officially wrote the CPP Legislative Caucus, one Papa Kole, bringing the CPP attention to this issue. On April 21st, 2021, we wrote the CPP Legislative Caucus, bringing their attention to this issue and laying out all the facts and circumstances surrounding it. No action. We wrote almost all the CPP lawmakers did not take action. So our concern is there seems to be a grand conspiracy against the people. Musa Belete's son is one of the companies selected, and he's quote unquote an opposition leader from the Liberian Party. Nothing has been said. So in the legislature, the efforts have been stalled by two forces. One, by Abachie, and two, by the business people who are just sitting and waiting for this process to go through successfully so that in the future they can sit and make millions of dollars from oil money.
And most Liberians don't see it as anything. They don't see it as a problem because we don't have oil right now. And Liberians generally don't think long term. They think immediate, right in front of them.
Yeah.
What they can eat today. This is a serious issue, brother Mame. But it's good the Americans are on board with this because they're afraid of the Americans. The Americans will ask questions and they will want to see the records, the proof to show how this law was changed. And because this is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So how long you've been engaged in this effort at the level of the Senate for a while now? How long has it been and what has happened so far? Has there been any kind of substantial traction? Anything has happened?
We've been in this since 2019. Since 2019, we've been engaged with the different stakeholders. As a matter of fact, we have a team of lawyers that guide in this process. So every time you see Amola speak, it's only because I'm privileged to be the person who my colleagues have asked in the coalition to speak on behalf of the coalition. The lawyers have guided me to speak to what I'm speaking about. So since 2019, we've been engaged. We were guided into first establishing the coalition. We were guided into getting citizens' petition from across the country to be able to back our legal process.
To have legal standing to go to court.
It's already at the court.
I know that. I know you are. I was about to ask that. Where are we with that?
So because it is in the court, the lawyers don't want me to speak a whole lot about it, but the court just resumed. So we expect the case to be on the docket in the October term of court.
Good. Now, what exactly is the lawsuit? What are you suing for at the court? You don't have to go into the nitty-gritty of it, but just tell us the reason, the purpose, the objective of the lawsuit.
The objective of the lawsuit is to declare the amendment unconstitutional. That's the objective. Whether it went through the red process, whether it was clandestinely done.
You're not going through procedural errors and all that kind of stuff. That's too technical.
Yes. Basically, we are saying the amendment in its content, the content of the amendment violates the Constitution. Our Constitution says the natural resource should be managed in a maximum in a way that it ensures the maximum feasible participation of every Liberian. That's the Constitution. Natural resources should be managed in a way that ensures the maximum feasible participation of every Liberian. We feel that setting business ownership as a basis for getting 5% participation violates that provision. So we're asking the Supreme Court to declare it unconstitutional. That's the basis of our case to the Supreme Court. Without going into further details, at the legislature on the political side, we are saying the process you use, we don't have any evidence
that the process was duly followed.
Besides that, we are asking them on what rationale. Costa, you study public policy, you study government.
Mm-hmm.
Before a law is changed, there must be a basis for the change.
Because every law that is made in public policy is to benefit the larger society.
Thank you.
The greater number of people.
Correct.
So what kind of rationale did they put into repealing that? Because it all benefits the people. So when you want to take that benefit away, you have to tell me, make that case. Why are you taking it away?
Thank you. So they don't want to say anything at the legislature on why they changed the law. They don't want to explain on why you changed the law, in fact, without at least a public hearing. At least a public hearing. We not say do nationwide consultation as was done before, but at least a public hearing. So experts can come, so people can come and express why it should or should not be, or even if it should be, how it should be. Why you don't want to say anything?
Because, as you said, they didn't do it the right way, and they didn't do it for good reasons.
So they cannot explain any reason. So that is what we're pursuing at the legislature, and we will get that, all of them. So Senator Dillon, Senator Sebwe, and other people in the lower house that have been working with us, but it's just, I can't call their names now, but it's just taking too long and forever. So we suspecting a whole lot of things.
Have you reached out to the leadership of the CPP? They don't even do advocacy about issues that affect the people, right? Which is sad, by the way. The CPP does not. They seem to only be focused on taking state power. Have you reached out to them about this issue that's very important?
We reached out to the CPP Legislative Caucus. The lawyers advised us to not deal directly with political parties. But since the CPP is a constituent member in the legislature and they have authority to make decisions on behalf of the people as legislators, we can engage them as legislators, not as a political party.
It makes sense.
So we engaged the CPP Legislative Caucus. We wrote letter to every one of them. Nyambli was there for Kapi, Dillon, Hansen Kazolu, and the chairman Papa Kole. I mean, just almost everybody. So we wrote them. They are aware that this thing has happened. They are aware of the consequences, but they choose not to take action. They are aware. And
my brother, this is very sad, brother Mame. It's extremely sad. Now, you worked in the industry, the hydrocarbon sector. A number of reforms took place. Now we have the Petroleum Regulatory Authority. We have the new NOCAL. Many of those powers that they had were taken away and given to the regulatory authority. NOCAL is now essentially an oil company. And this government has attempted to do bid rounds unsuccessfully. Nobody seems to be interested in participating in bid rounds. But, brother Mame, I've heard all kinds of stories, and I hope some of them are true, that Liberia will indeed find oil in substantial commercial quantity.
Yes.
The day we do, by God's grace, 5% would be worth an insane amount of money, wouldn't it?
Exactly. The estimate, not my estimate, the TGS NOPEC, the data company for the government, have estimated that just within 6 blocks in the Harper Basin, not the 30 blocks.
Now, those are the blocks they say hold the greatest prospects of commercial quantity, the Harper Basin.
Yes.
But not a lot of work has been done there.
And that's the basin now that they're trying to pull out for bid.
Yeah, the Harper Basin. And that basin faces Ivory Coast and those areas, right?
Maryland.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anybody listening to the show can just Google on your own TGS NOPEC estimates of Liberia.
Yeah, it's a Houston-based geometaphysical company.
TGS have estimated 1 billion barrels of oil in the Harper Basin.
Now let's do the math. Let's discount it. What's the price of a barrel now?
So we estimated the barrel, the price of a barrel at $64 at the time. $64 per dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So when we estimated that, subtracted using data from other countries and other places, we estimate that to produce the 1 billion barrel, you'll be spending around $26 billion to do that. And if you sell at $64 per barrel, you'll be making $64 billion. If you subtract your cost of production, you'll be left with cost oil, you'll be left with $38.5 billion.
That's profit oil.
The 5% of that 38.5 billion is 1.9 billion. It is the money about Chie, Wea, and Maggie have colluded, brought in few
$1.9 billion.
1.9 billion. It is this amount that they have colluded.
So that's why they Nicodemusly remove the 5% equity.
Yes.
We should go into a citizens fund for all Liberian citizens to enjoy.
Yeah.
They want to give it to a handful of people.
Exactly. And now to be able to do that, they have to use businesses. So if you see, right after the law was changed, several oil companies were established.
That's true.
Right
People that never had oil companies, all of a sudden, establish them.
You start seeing oil
And the
gas
company that established, they're in Nemo on paper, nothing else.
No office, some of them no office, some of them just established purposely for this mission to be executed. So we detected that already. So it is not like chicken change that Bremen will say. It's not like chicken change. It's $1 billion investment. That is the reason why they are spending money. Even in the press, Costa, you got the courage to speak about this thing. You got the courage.
About the Liberian people will speak about it.
Other platforms don't allow the conversation of the 5%.
Have you tried to approach other platforms? They don't want to
talk
about it?
Other platforms have reached out to us and we discussed at the latter minute they just canceled. Any platform you think about, they've reached out to us. I mean, there are records. We arranged. At the latter time, it just canceled. Other places will send press release and they will call and say, no, they say we should not carry this release.
Okay. This is something that benefits all of us, and people don't want to defend it and fight for it.
Yeah.
But you see, brother Mame, let me take you back to something. In 2000, when Judy Bryant was interim chairman, you know the oil industry better than I do. That's when most of those oil blocks were given out. Ata Akwechuku Easy, the Nigerian guy from Atlas Orantos, that's when he got blocks 11, 12, and 14, which he flipped to Chevron for over $200 million and retained 30% equity in each of those 3 blocks, with Liberia having the option to acquire 10% equity. That meant walk away with $250 million. And that's when all the other oil blocks were given out to people, including Block 13. Broadway Consolidated, we changed its name later to Pepper Coast and went in and brought, when NOCAL mandated what they call mandatory divestiture, they went and brought in Canadian Overseas Petroleum Limited to help bankroll the stuff. When they concluded their exploration, they flipped it. A handful of Liberians made a lot of money, including the late Councillor David A.B. Jala. And Apache all made money too, right? Who all were listed? Several people made money because they were silent partners.
Several people made money. The group of people who made money are the same group of people now in government and want to change the law to the way it was looking before that make them to make that money. Who are they? Who are they? Costa, who are they? Musa Dean. Musa Dean was at NOCAL when they did the deal in 2000 during the Judy Bryant administration. Fode Kroma, who is now at the LPRA on the board, was at NOCAL
too.
Abachie was in the sector. Jesla Murray, who is now at the Ministry of Lands, Mines and Energy, was also
Minister for technical or something.
Yes. So this same group of people who manipulated the system.
No, he's the Minister for Lands and Mines.
I mean, prior to now.
Yes.
So this same group of people, Abachie, Jesla Murray, Fode Kroma, Musa Dean, and the rest of the other folks, the Jonathan Mason, who was the Minister of Lands, Mines and Energy. And
Mason signed all the deals.
Good. They orchestrated that scheme that landed in their hand $3.3 million in 2013. They share it among themselves.
Now, let me hold you there. It's good for us to talk and highlight this. The reason I'm mentioning it, not because I'm trying to brag about my knowledge of how these deals were done or whatever, but it's good for us to say so Liberians can know. Today, you may think say having 5% in the team mean nothing, but tomorrow when they sell it, because we all know Block 13 was sold to ExxonMobil, the world's largest oil company, for $150 million. The government of Liberia got what? $45 million in signature bonus.
Correct.
And those partners, those silent Liberian partners that Brother Mame just named, they walk away with over $3 million. Now, suppose Dopro has sold that thing there for hundreds of millions of dollars. Imagine how much one of the boys would have made. So this is why we are saying it is wrong, it is unacceptable, it is unfair that a handful of Liberians can maneuver their way, use their influence, abuse their offices, and secure for themselves free interest. Free. They're not buy.
No.
But what gives the right to John Brown to have free share in oil block? Because he's Liberian. But I'm a Liberian too. I ain't got a free share. I mean, what sense does it make? Tell me, brother Mame.
It doesn't make sense. The only sense it makes is a sense to those who want to use the system to enrich themselves while they are out of government. That's the only point it makes sense to.
But brother Mame, you know, when I say these things, and some people say, oh, but Costa, you're in the CPP and you say these things, but it is disappointing that the people who are in CPP, who call themselves the people who are bringing change, they're sitting there. They're not advocating for these things, against these things. They have lawmakers. They should call them to a meeting and say, look, these young men have raised these things. Because, trust me, many of the political leaders, they ain't know nothing about this thing. They're not okorum. Brother, just because they are leaders, that doesn't mean they know the things you know. I'm telling you, I'm familiar with this thing more than most of them. So, but to and say, look, you know what happened, brother Mame, these young men have raised something very important. This is something potentially down the line that's going to be a problem. How can we lend our support? Talk to the lawmakers, the legislative caucus, and say, look, make this thing an agenda item, a priority agenda item. Fight for this thing. But brother Mame, sadly, you're not seeing that.
It's not happening. It's not happening. The Secretary General of the Unity Party asks for all the documents we have regarding this 5%.
You mean Brother Mo Ali?
Brother Mo Ali. He reviewed it with his lawyer, came back to our coalition and said, we are convinced that this is wrong, and he publicly joined the campaign. But he cannot get his legislators who should effect the change to do this.
Because the legislators never listen to the political parties. Again, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. They are only elected on their tickets, the different party tickets, but they never follow the party's agenda. Not like America, where the Democrats will say we're going to vote for this, and almost all of them will vote for it.
Oh, yeah.
But in Liberia, the lawmakers go on their own. They always run them up. But this is a serious problem. So, brother Mame, what is the strategy? What are you going to do? Where are we? And where are you in this fight? And I think we do increase the frequency of our discussion around this.
I think so.
I do advocacy. That's what we do. And somebody just said that bring this guy on at least twice a week to keep making noise. We need to keep talking about it. At least once a week, you got to come on. Every night and day, you got to come on. Let's keep talking about this thing because that's the way we got to keep hitting them hard, hitting them hard, hitting them hard. Now you got the Americans who publicly say, we support you on this, but we got to keep talking about it because it's bad, it's wrong. And you Liberians, I'm going to hold you there. The thousands of you who are listening and who are watching, and thousands more who will watch later on and listen later on, you need to join this fight. We all need to start talking about this on social media, make it trend. We have a tendency in Liberia where the only things we talk about that trend are politics. I know this is politics, but this is more than that. It's about the interest of the people. We're talking potentially $1.9 billion in the future that we could give. We are a largely youthful population. Many of us will be alive by God's grace when we find commercial quantity of oil. The Harbor Basin, we ain't 30 years. I pray to God that all job we have efforts to do Bay Rama fail. I'm on a prayer. Hey God, all the effort they're trying to make him when I'm well, because you know we're not born and do Bay Rama right now, bro.
But Costa, you don't have to, you see, God is already working. Because all the oil companies that initially engaged the process pull out. That's fact.
But why? And yeah, brother mate, why they pull out? They don't want to be engaged in the bid round. Why?
Two fundamental reasons. One, we made representation that the law on which the bid round is being conducted is being contested. It's an issue, it's a subject of
so y'all don't want to check out that. My man, shake my hand, man. Yeah, man, y'all don't want to check out that.
We made representation and it's called constructive notice.
Oh, yeah, you put it on constructive notice.
We made representation that the law on which the bail round is being conducted is a
that
subject of
law not
litigation.
correct. They temper with it.
It's a subject of litigation. So if you
So the
continue
company
to
will say,
proceed,
who come and go take part in a bail round? What later on tomorrow they will say they were not correct.
so we say if you continue to proceed, you're proceeding at your own rates. So we made that representation.
So they were duly constructively notified.
They were notified. The second reason is the oil companies reviewed the amendment, even though the amendment was not public until it became public on the president's website. Now, we shared the amendment to them. They read the amendment. One critical part in the amendment was, besides the citizen 5%, the law said petroleum contract in Liberia must be awarded only after a competitive bidding process. The law also said the head of the Petroleum Directorate shall work as a tenured position so that he can be independent in the execution of his duty and void of political manipulation. The amendment now says the head of the Petroleum Directorate shall work to the will and pleasure of the president.
Yeah, but listen, brother Mama, let me hold you right there.
Yeah.
To go back to something we earlier mentioned, but we need to re-echo it. This petroleum law that it thinks that the Liberian government, our donor partners, the Americans, hired professionals from abroad, lawyers, I think British lawyers or so.
Yes.
They crafted that law. Allah?
No.
Then that's what money the people in a
whole lot.
They crafted that law. So the people made the correct law. Then the crooks then go change the law overnight.
Overnight.
You think the donor will be happy?
No. So just to lay my thought on your question about how the bill ran feel. So the oil company saw the amendment that says the head of Petroleum Directorate is no longer working independent as per the old law, but work to the will and pleasure of the president. The provision that says,
and who changed that one? That
yes, it's part of the amendment. There's a provision now that says instead of the petroleum contract being awarded only after competitive bidding, it gave the option for direct negotiation and executive allocation, meaning the president can allocate.
And direct negotiation by the hassle.
So
and they play black and happy so.
But the direct negotiation they use to get the black to the Nigerian man.
My man, it ain't correct.
And that's correct.
They can negotiate. You get any amount of money they get you the thing.
Thank you.
No competitive bidding.
So once the oil company saw that the head of the Petroleum Directorate is no longer independent, but what the president's motive to change this thing from being independent to working to his will and pleasure? What's the motive? It getting a pause. Once they saw an option from competitive bidding to direct negotiation, it also getting the pause. And when we said then the constructive notice that this law you're proceeding on is a subject of litigation, it paused.
So the how the company then left?
The how the companies left.
My man, so you spoil a man and chopping, my man, you buy me.
It was not that really spoiling that chopping was.
Hey, my man, but you know, I just who give her help, but
it was protecting the interests of the people. So after all the companies left, this is what they did, Costa. After all the companies left, you know what they did now? They announced direct negotiation.
There's only as a day. Hold on. The signature bonus amount, what they say pay lump sum. They change it, they say you must do say pay. You pay in installment.
They thought by doing that.
I saw the thing on their website. The man said you can pay the money small. Who can pay signature bonus small? You boy.
It should be paid one time.
One time. That's what they call it, signature bonus. You sign the deed, you sign the money, 45 million, they give it to you.
Red bar.
But the government say, you know what happen, let's do say pay. You pay some today.
And the reason why they were doing that, because the guys were worrying. So they were trying to find a way to appease them to come. They said, even the signature bonus, you can pay us small. The man said, even if you pay small today, we'll fall in trouble tomorrow. So we'll stay in all of your trouble.
What? My man, people walking around in Liberia looking for food to eat while a few Liberians sitting out there doing all kind of bad deals to get rich at the expense of the rest of the people.
Yeah.
What kind of wicked there in the country, so my man? Talking, my man. Yeah, it's a shame.
It's a shame.
We will take a few calls. Brother Ambula Mame is with us. Mame, what your group name? The full name of the coalition.
Coalition for the Restoration of Liberian 5% Equity Rights. It's called CORE. CORLE.
CORLE. Thank you. CORLE. CORLE. Coalition for the Restoration of the Liberian 5% Equity. Good. We'll go to the phone lines. We'll take some calls. George, read the numbers out, including the international line, the WhatsApp line. This is extreme wickedness, my dear brother. Extreme wickedness. Liberians are very wicked people. You know, brother Mame, we try to blame foreigners for our problem, but we are the ones, we are this wicked. So basically what he bought in there, they bought in finger the oil law. Basically that what they did, right?
The finger, hey.
So the finger have been all over the place. How can you amend such an important law with no record to show that it went through the due process? The proper procedure was followed. It is sad. Brother Mame, we need to keep talking about this. This is very important. I'm glad that alarm your blue, the companies left, because Mame, I went on the website, they put it in there, Mame, and you know the basin they want to give? The basin that holds the greatest prospects.
Harper
Basin. That the one they wanted to give. And you know what I was told? They had their own secret oil companies that you see it. They just waiting. The moment they do bid round, the next thing you will know, their companies will have equity inside. Excluding the companies you know. The companies you don't know, they have them waiting in line. Can you imagine? This is extremely sad. George, we have some calls there. Our time is up already.
Yep.
Huh?
No calls yet.
Brother Mame, we got to keep talking about this thing here. It is just sad. It is extreme wickedness. We have to keep making noise about it. Hopefully something will happen. We got to go back and restore this thing. These people, especially where the Americans were stakeholders in this process, they spent almost $1 million. Almost $1 million to change this law. Hello? Hello? Yeah, this is Samuel Jackson. Let's hear him. Sam, good morning. Sam is very knowledgeable in this oil thing as well. Sam, morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Mammy. Look, he has his heart in the right place. He's doing a proper advocacy, but unfortunately, some of the information that he's providing, may be accurate, but we need to basically look at the fundamental things that we need to talk about. First of all, in the year 2000, the Local Act of 2000 was very clear about the participation of Liberia in the oil block. It said that 20% should be given to the state, and we have set up a structure where that 20% was going to be given to the people of Liberia. Ellen Johnson and those others, when they were negotiating this oil blocks, did not grant the 20% equity to the state, and they cannibalized it. Now, I'm very surprised that you're talking about 5% of something that you own. Why are you sticking on this 5%? You should be sticking on a higher, a free carry interest of something like 20% or more. You know, because when you talk about 5%, it does not resonate with the public. Okay, that's one point. The second point I want to make is that, and I don't want to be confrontational, but the last time that Manu was on this show, he said that he had information that I had ownership or I had some affiliation with the companies that were granted the oil block, and that's totally inaccurate. I had an oil company several years ago called Liberian. Me and my partners, we participated in one of the bid rounds, and we were all successful. Okay, I have been a strong advocate, Henry, as you know, for Liberian economic empowerment for all of my life. We wrote the oil law. We gave you 20%. In the Petroleum Act of 2002, we said that all contracts in the petroleum industry of $3 million or less should be given to Liberians. Okay? In between 2003 and 2005, NorCal granted all of those oil blocks through direct negotiation. And we fought against that. We fought against RFZ. We fought against that. But the public didn't have our back. The public didn't have our back. So, I admire your advocacy. I support it. And I'm very enamored of you. But and also, the last thing I need to tell you is that to include a Forfeiture command name as a corrupt individual is totally unfair. That's one of the most honorable men in this country. He has a PhD from Cornell, and he has worked extensively. He is a very humble man. Humble means he did not participate in any one of the corruption. In fact, he wrote the Minerals and Mining Act of 2000, where he granted 15% of free carry interest to Liberians, and that was also cannibalized. So why fight for 5% when you own the oil block? So those are the points I want to make, Henry. And I appreciate Mr. Mami, and God bless him. His heart is in the wrong place, but unfortunately, some of his methodology are kind of questionable. Thank you very much, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Sam Jackson. So why Mr. Mame was on, and because he mentioned the pro tem Honorable Albert Che, I decided to contact the pro tem. I sent him a message. This is what I wrote to the pro tem. Good morning. I'm hosting a guest now who is accusing you of undermining their efforts to restore the 5% citizen equity in the petroleum law. How do you respond? That is the message I wrote to the Honorable Pro Tem Albert Che. Albert Che replied, Senator Segwe and Delon wrote the Senate plenary on the amendment to the petroleum exploration and petroleum law, and is with the Committee on Judiciary. I expect a report from the committee in the special session, which will start next week. So you hear that? Senator Che is saying he is expecting a report rather, from the Committee on Judiciary, which is chaired by Vani Sherman, right? Next week. They're coming back. They're reconvening for a special session. Then he also sent another reply. He said, let me state that the amendment we approved, the amendment we're talking about, which we say is bad, at the Liberian Senate is totally in the public interest. Now, we need to be convinced, Senator Che. Pro Tem Che.
Costa, quickly.
No, wait. Let me finish reading what he wrote, because I'm sure the public wants to know what the pro tem wrote. Because you named him, you mentioned him. So he has responded. So I have a duty to say what he said. You have a duty to respond. He said, it seems people are reading the amendment upside down. But the Judiciary Committee will clarify everything. I can't wait to see that clarification. He writes further, no need to unjustifiably accuse Albert Che of undermining efforts to look at the amendment. He says you should not accuse him unjustifiably. He goes further. He said, I have no interest in buying shares in petroleum exploration ventures as contemplated in the amendment. With dry holes all over the Liberian petroleum basin, a sound economic geologist like me will invest in something else. Clearly not petroleum exploration. Well, the pro tem says he's not going to invest in us in that kind of matter.
Two things. Costa. The first thing is, this is not my first time on your show.
No, not your first time. But good news. He has promised that next week, the report from the Judiciary Committee, based on the letter written jointly by Senators Delon and Sibwe, the report will be produced, will be submitted to him.
Because the Americans and other people have engaged in already.
But we like that. We are happy about that. So let's see.
That's why you're acting.
Yeah.
But let me say this. I just sent you an email, Costa.
Okay, you just sent me an email.
I just sent you an email.
Okay.
With a table.
Okay.
So I know exactly. I can predict.
I have the email.
Yes, with that table. Read that table to the Liberian people.
Comparison of the phrase used in the 2014 oil law for citizens' participation to the phrase used in the approved 2019 amendment. So there's a table that compares what was in the original law of 2014 and what's in the amended law of 2019, right?
Yep.
Regarding citizen participation.
Correct.
Sections 31.6. So you quoted all the sections in the law. What did the original 2014 law say? The original law. Quote, in addition to the state participation provided in section 35 of this act, the state shall have the right to acquire 5% participation in the rights and interests of a contractor under a petroleum agreement for the benefit of a citizen fund, which shall be established and managed in accordance with the following provisions of this section 36. Let's go to the amended law and read what they put there. In addition to local content provisions in the Exploration and Production Act, each petroleum agreement shall contain a provision for at least 5% total equity stake for companies owned by natural persons of Liberian citizenship. Such interest may be limited to equity interest and may not be carried interest. Now, let me define equity interest and carried interest for people. Carry interest means that the free one we carry we write our road because we own the thing. Equity interest are the one they say if for companies they will buy it. Are they going to buy it? Are they going to buy it? But what they also say here, brother Mame, is this. They're saying that rather than the 5% being given to us, to all of us as a citizen fund managed by a citizen fund, in the amended version, they say they will give it to companies who are Liberians of natural birth. So a few Liberians will get it, as opposed to the original law, which says that all of us will get it and they will put a proceeds in a citizen fund for the benefit of all of us. So I want to hear, Brother Mame, how is it that a few Liberians owning the 5% versus all Liberians owning the 5%, I want to know which is better.
That's why our chair should be telling the people.
What the Honorable Pro Tem says when the report is submitted next week in their special session.
And the thing is clear.
They will tell us.
The law says 5% for citizen fund.
Yep.
Meaning every Liberian can benefit.
Yep.
You change it and say 5% for Liberian businesses. Meaning only people who have businesses will benefit. The short way to quote it when we were doing the law, but the thing is, this thing did not start today. It started when we were doing the law.
They are the old man oil company.
So they had two modalities. When we were doing the law, they had two modalities. The citizen fund modality and the business ownership modality. After debate and conversation, we agree on using the citizen fund modality rather than the business ownership modality. That was in 2014. Then in 2019, you move the citizenship modality and put the business ownership modality, and then you tell us that it's in the interest of Liberian as if we are stupid people. But more than that, if you go down the line, Costa, all the provisions in the law on how the citizen fund will be managed, who will acquire it, when it will be established, all the provisions are also deleted from the law. So what went wrong? Let it tell us what was wrong with that law that they had to change it and that they have to do it clandestinely. Why? What happened? What was wrong? Because before you change the law, it must be wrong.
That's true. That's true. Well, there you have it, folks. Brother Mame, as I said, let's keep having this conversation. This is what you know that what we do here, even if our friends are involved, but for us, it's different.
Yeah.
Because Liberia is such a small country, everybody know everybody. Hard to talk certain things because, oh, I don't want to hear my friend feeling, but we're here on this show, we can look at our own man and tell the truth. You know, this is a clear thing here. There's an advocacy void of politics. It's in the
Void
interest of the Liberian
politics.
people. All of us must support the one. If you say you go Liberian, you gotta be for the one. If you don't support the one, then you're walking on your head. Because tomorrow, when the 5% goes into the citizen fund, the proceeds from all the oil blocks, when they go into the citizen fund, this thing will benefit us. We can use the money to ensure we improve the education sector. We can use the money to ensure we improve all kinds of things. We can improve the healthcare sector. We can improve the citizen can decide how they want. Normally, you know how other countries run it? They hire a foreign entity.
That's what the law call for. Costa, you smart. That when
they will say you can manage it. We not trust our government. You can manage it.
That's why it's in the law. Section 36.
So the law is a beautiful law, my man.
Section 36. But everybody was involved.
Then why you go touch the law?
It was there. It called for the government to select an international trust company
to manage it.
But they deleted that provision from the law. They deleted it.
Yeah. Anyway, my man, the program said next week we'll get the report. I'm sure they will make it available to us, make it available to Coley, your group, and we'll go ahead and we'll keep talking about this. We'll keep making a lot of noise about it.
I just wanted to make one correction to senior brother
Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson.
Yes, please do.
And it's important that we make it so that the public don't go with a misconception. The 5% we're discussing is equity. The government has 10%. That is not the only share of revenue, the share of revenue or oil that is going to the country. That 5% and 10% is together within the cost and profit oil. When the profit of the oil company is declared, profit oil is declared, government has 60% share of that profit, in addition to her 10% equity. So maybe Sam need to go and look at the revenue sharing contract and the model that was developed for the law. There is equity share, and after profit is declared, the final profit from the oil company, the government got 60%.
Yeah, that's what they call cost oil, profit oil, and all that kind of yama. You know,
so I just wanted to make that clarification. So it's not only 5%. The 5% only for the citizen directly. What the government will get from the profit oil will be used for development across the country. And
that's why they say, that's why the law proposes that the 5% goes into a citizen fund.
Ooh,
so that they not say consolidated account.
No.
Citizen fund. Then the law also says we must hire an international company of good repute that will come and manage the fund. Then they will develop a mechanism whereby the citizen can say, you know what, we want the money to be spent on this 1 year or so. So basically, that company will not take instruction from the central government.
No. But all those provisions you calling to Costa, all those provisions you highlighting that you're reading, they deleted all from the law.
Yes. But now they got to explain to us, how is it that striking out the 5% citizen fund or citizen equity provision is a bad thing, and that giving it to a few companies owned by a few people is a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
They're gonna tell us that.
That's what we'll be waiting for.
Yeah.
And to just conclude on this, one reason that around the table, the Americans and other people who sat with the law at the time when we were there, that they spoke against this business ownership modality was, Liberia is a fragile country, has bad record in natural resource management. Natural resource management has always been corrupt and could lead to conflict.
True.
So the business modality, they said, if government gets involved into deciding which company take equity, and this government leaves from power, another government comes, there's a likelihood that that new government will want to take the equity from the businesses that were given by the previous government under the assumption that those companies were allied to that government, that for which they gave them the equity. For example, George Madonna went to gain 5%, again Aminata 5%, other people. If a new government comes, but Madonna went to that job we are man, that's the reason why job we are getting 5%. So we take the 5% from him. That's when conflict gets into the sector. That's when conflict ensues.
Because those people try to protect what they already have.
Yes. Because they want to protect their resources. The government wants to take it from them. Then conflict will ensue. Then the ordinary people will suffer.
So to avoid that, give it to everybody in the
Give it
country.
to everybody. That was the motive. So we wait for the committee report to see what it has to say about how they can address that.
Brother Mame, we want to reaffirm our commitment and pledge to work with your coalition on this.
Thank you.
Next week, according to the Honorable Pro Tem, I wrote him. He was very responsive. I shared the messages with you. I forwarded them to you, and I read them for the benefit of the public. And we wait to be proven wrong. We want to see what the committee report will say. Let them tell us that we are stupid people who don't understand what we're talking, that the few companies, when they benefit, it better when they get their money, then they'll share with all of us. Yeah, as opposed to having the money in one account where we all can decide. You know, there are other countries, man. In Botswana, right, one of the fastest growing economies in Africa, they're doing so well. They have something called the Pula Fund, P-U-L-A, the Pula Fund. This is a sovereign wealth fund where the country puts money away under their policy of intergenerational equity, where they say, look, we have gem diamonds today, we're extracting these diamonds, we're exploiting them, we're developing the country, but we need to put some money away so that tomorrow, when the diamonds have run out, because diamonds, like oil, they are finite resources, they can run out. When the diamonds are done, at least our future generations who will not see diamonds, they will have a lot of money sitting in this account that's been managed. And you know what I did? The Pula Fund is being managed by a foreign firm. So it's billions of dollars. Last time I checked, they had about $6, $7, $8 billion sitting now in it. Billions. That is several times the GDP of Liberia. And it's been managed by a foreign fund. These are the visions, these are the ideas we have, Brother Mame. This is the kind of model we need. So the Botswana model, we need to copy that model and replicate it in Liberia. We can put one of the first things I would do if I was president of Liberia. The day I become president, one day I would say, automatically, no more concessions. We'll put a moratorium on concessions, review all our laws to ensure that we copy the Botswana model and say, you know what? We are going to do major equity participation. Botswana said, they told the BS, the guy, Seresi Khama, the father of modern Botswana. He told the company, Seresi Khama, a black boy went to school in Britain, married a white woman, went back to Botswana, a dirt patch of land, and he told the people, he said, look, when they found diamonds, he said, if you want our diamonds, you will come to our country, we will form a company jointly owned by you and us. The BS went to Botswana and they said, hey, we're not going to use your company. We're going to form a brand new company. And that company is called Debswana.
Debswana.
Yeah, DEB for DBS and SWANA Swana for Botswana. Yep. They formed Debswana, and Botswana said, look, 50% of the equity will be for us, 50% for you. The company said, but why? You're not putting that in? No, the diamond for us. You bring in the resources, the manpower, and then when you get the diamonds out, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to do, you will wash the diamond here, you will clean the diamond here, you will cut the diamond here to maximize the local benefits. It's called local beneficiation. You increase the benefits for the local population. In the oil business, they call it local content, where you do more businesses with people, all the support services for the industry. Botswana call theirs, they call theirs local beneficiation. That's why they have so many opportunities in the country. They create so many jobs in the country. So, my dear brother, we understand we're not stupid people. And really? Of course, we are well read. We're not stupid. And I want to interpret what we can post about what we know in our head, my brother. Because I want to, we can post about the shoe well, we post about what in our head. I want to you carry that one with you. Okay, brother, thank you. So we'll wait for next week. When the report come out, then we'll talk, we'll bring it back here.
Okay, thank you, Costa.
Thank you, my brother. Bye-bye. Well, folks, there you have it. Have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful day. We're going to be back here, same time, 7:30 a.m. till the show ends. Have yourselves a wonderful, blessed day. Bye-bye. George, I see you.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We'll be back here tomorrow. Bye.
Okay.